How many people watching this video remembers the Jedd Bike? You guys remember the Jedd Bike? 1970, 71, 72, something like that. Fox AM Scrambler. And do have the original 4 horsepower Tecumseh motor. So what is actually going on with this? Well, I actually sold this mini bike. I had a guy that found my videos here on YouTube, and so as he was a kid growing up, him and his dad had several of these bikes, and they rebuilt them, restored them, and took them out and enjoyed them and had a good time. And I think really around about his time, I think they probably had these things actually brand new, maybe, I'm not too sure. But anyway, so a lot of sentimental value in this particular model, this particular bike, to this guy. So he made me an offer, and I couldn't refuse to sell it to him because of the memories that he has with these mini bikes, and you know, memories with his dad and things like that. And if anyone watching this channel, you know how I am, you know, when it comes to how I feel about my dad and how much I miss him every day. And I do a lot of things every day, all the time, that remind me of my dad and the memories that we had together. So with that being said, I went ahead and going to part ways with this mini bike. He's going to completely restore this mini bike to the way it was brand new, and he knows exactly how to do it. He knows exactly how they are, and he remembers all that, and he's going to have a great project with this one. So so we're saying my farewells to the old Jedd Bike, which is for good reasoning. It's okay. Alright, so after a long driving from Kentucky to Ohio, back down to West Virginia to pick up the Jedd Bike, as you remember the Jedd Bike.
Oh yeah.
Justin is here picking up the bike, and let's just have a look at what he was doing in Ohio, because this is cool. This dude knows what he's doing. Like he's done picked up another. Now, what'd you say this one was?
This is a 72 MTD trail fleet, and they had plastic tanks on top. Wow. And the same kind of 20-degree slant motor, and you know, they've all got that slanted intake to keep the float level. But this one actually has a Springer front end. If you can see it, the front.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it has a Springer front end.
You kind of see it there, yeah.
With this old grab bar, and the story is, here's the interesting story. When I was 15, I owned this bike. And I'm 35 now. When he was 15, he owned that bike.
Oh, nice.
And so I've been looking for 20 years to find this one. And after finding it, the exact same week, you know, because I talked to you last year about it. Kids get sick, you know, life goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking around Christmas time, and then I found this one. You know, I called you and found out, so we made a deal. Within the same week, I made a deal on this one from a guy in Findlay, Ohio.
Oh, wow.
And so I just scheduled it perfectly to pick them up. So literally 20 years have passed since my bike, and 25 years have passed since his bike. So
ain't that something?
Yeah, we're getting our childhood bikes back in the same weekend.
With some added Harleyness to it.
Oh yeah.
But now, in the hauler cycles, my buddy Dave did that, which you see in that video. Now, of course, them handlebars was pretty rough, but boy, didn't that turn out nice. Oh, yeah. So that's kind of a nice little touch. I mean, it won't be like factory being like that, but you know, it's
the fun thing is we've got pipe benders at work, so I can run, you know, 83 stainless tubing at work and have the guys bend it. We can do all.
You could have brand new handlebars,
the welding
probably,
and reassembly of any parts.
So literally, you're gonna have this bike like brand new, probably. I'm
gonna get it as close to factory as I can, just the same way my original one was, and probably try and reach out to. There's a guy in Texas that the guy that we talked to about this one, he makes custom decals. So if I can get the tank done, I'll try and find some, you know, original stickers and get dimensions and see if I can get some custom ones made.
So in other words, you're gonna be able to do something with this bike that I couldn't.
Oh yeah, it's the motor. We've already tore the factory one apart whenever we redid this one, and then, you know, almost 30 years ago, him and Dad did the same one on that one. So,
oh yeah.
So these are going to be as close to factory original as could be, and then, you know, 2 old men riding around on the mini bikes in the neighborhood.
If you guys remember, the only plans that I had for this bike was literally to kind of rat rod this bike out, and it was the Jedd Bike. Bike. That was its given name, was the Jedd Bike. So now this bike is actually going to be, and he knows more about it. So what is this thing actually going to be then?
It's either, judging on the rear sprocket in the rear drum brake tells me it's a 72 Fox Dynamark Thunderbolt 150. But if you had a solid rear sprocket with no cutouts and a rear mechanical disc brake, then it would be a 71 Fox AM Scrambler. So without, knowing, really the best way to tell is if you took the paint off of this on that rear fender and you started seeing yellow paint, that would tell you it's a 72 Thunderbolt. Because they were yellow tanks and yellow rear fenders. Now if they're both chrome, then someone probably wrecked it, had an issue, and they might have worn the rear sprocket out, because like I said, it doubled with this gap right here. When it was solid, a mechanical disc brake mounted, and that was actually your mechanical drum disc brake on that rotor. But so time will tell when we start pulling paint. If this is chrome, I would think that they could have also changed the fenders, but basically they're basically identical, other than drum brakes front and rear on a 72 and mechanical disc on a 71.
Nice.
But other than that, the frame, the shocks, the seat, everything's identical.
Absolutely. So as you can see, the right people view my videos right here on YouTube, because this guy knows this bike way better than I could even Google, because I couldn't hardly, it took me forever. Well, no, wait a second, you hit me up.
Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, so he commented on these videos, and it's only because of him I was able to find some information on this bike. So it's rightfully going to where it needs to go. It
I
definitely is. What can you tell me actually about the engine here? Because
if I haven't been able to do too much research to see, I'll have to try and slowly chip away this and look at the nameplate. I can't remember if these nameplates were stamped or if they were just kind of like etched in, but I'll have to pull it down. A lot of these older ones, some of them were HS40s. Those were 4 horsepower Tecumsehs. I think they had a HS350 and a HS50, which was a 5 horse, but it'll just take time to kind of tear it apart and really look at it and see what we've got. But the main thing is, a lot of the times you can find the parts. Everybody's always looking for the 20-degree slanted intake. That's what everybody wants. Yeah. Because those are really hard to come by because of the way the motors sit. So, as long as you got your intake on it and the carburetor, the carb can be rebuilt, and you can find, new heads, rings, and everything else. That's not, a major issue. But yeah,
I think the hardest part's to getting all that paint off of it, probably. Yeah. That's probably going to be the worst part. But yeah, the fact that it had decent compression is just what blew my mind from the start. When I first got it, I kid you not, a little bit of WD-40 down in there, but it cranked over anyways. But I put a little bit of WD-40 in there so I can check to see if it's got any compression. Put my finger over the hole and everything, and I couldn't pull it with my finger on the hole. I was like, what the heck? I can't believe an old engine like that. This is Justin, great YouTube viewer of mine, and now restorer of the Jedd Bike. He's going to make the Jedd Bike new, which is, I'm very happy about that myself. I'll be pleased to see some pictures. So Justin, it was nice.
Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah.
After about a year and a half.
Yeah. So we literally been texting back and forth for over a year about the bike and everything, and that day's finally come, and it's going where it needs to go. So.